man from God knows where. Please welcome Tom Russell.
Of course.
Want this over by you instead?
Sure. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. Be here a long time.
On the guitar tonight, fresh in from New York, Andrew Jefferson Harden. There he is.
What is this one for?
This is a MTV. Somebody is videoing the show, and that's what that is. Enough said.
Well, it's in my way.
We're starting very slowly here because we just got Andrew's plane left New York yesterday and got into Albuquerque about 4:30 this afternoon. So we need to take 1 second to tune up here. I always like to tune on the first song and the last song of the night to leave you with a good impression. So allow us just 1 minute here if you need one more espresso. And if it wasn't Los Alamos, I wouldn't tune up.
Here's my tuner. Somebody has stolen my tuner. I take that back. Can I use yours?
Yeah, well, that's
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we're almost there. This is the first night of a one-gig tour. So you're going to get it all. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to take you the first set on a little international journey, and I'm going to do a lot of songs off the new record. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But we're going to take you directly to the home of country music on this first song, Oslo, Norway. And Andrew and I cut our teeth in the honky-tonks of Oslo in the early 1980s. This has to come down a little on the monitor. Laura, thank you. And I wrote this song for a lady I wanted to meet on a street called St. Olave's Gate. And I got to sing it with Nancy Griffith on the last record, so here we go. Drinking black market vodka in the back of the Scotsman's saloon. And then it's red meat and whiskey like a cow drunk on the moon. But outside in Oslo, the buskers all sing the same tune. Well, it's a waltzing Matilda while the bagpipes play old Claire de Lune. Yeah. Well, she was a lady, she came down from Bergen, she said. She spoke a little English, we laughed and drank whiskey instead. I found it, the rose and the note on my plate. It said, meet me at midnight on the corner of St. Olave's Gate. See, here's to the ladies you love and you don't see again. The night is warm whiskey, the morning's a cold bitter wind. Yeah, the blue St. Ola's Gate. Oh, play it pretty. Don't encourage that. The night is warm whiskey, the morning's a cold, bitter wind. Yeah, the blue-eyed Madonna leaves town, but a drunken man waits, standing alone in the shadows of St. Ola's Gate. In the shadows of St. Ola's Gate. Yeah.
What do you need? Less of your guitar on my monitor. Still less.
Less of my guitar and his monitor.
Yeah, okay.
And just to hear more of this vocal, it's probably. Let's hear for Laura back on the sound. Back there. We go to Lyon, France now, from Oslo, Norway. Some people from Lyon. I'd like to know where these people are. I mean, they got the best seats reserved and they didn't even show up. 3 of my ex-wives and my brother. That always happens. Anyway, it's good to see you all here. I wrote this with the great Steve Young, who has played here, inside and in the parking lot as well. And probably in the lounge of the Hilltop House. And Steve was playing a place, a little room like this in Lyon, beautiful city in France, and saw the Angel of Lyon in the back, where Laura is sitting, and sang every song to her. Enchanted, in love, devastated, insane. And after about 10 encores, he jumped off the stage and tried to present her with his very rare Martin guitar. That's how crazy he was. And she'd vanished without even buying a CD. So this is a song for her, the Angel of Lyon. And I speak French in this song. 2 words, cognac and croissant. Back to the show here. He had a vision of Anne-Marie with a rosary in her hand. So it's exit the rainmaker, the old gray flannel fan, with a closet full of business suits. He left a letter near the phone. It said, I'm on my way to paradise to see the Angel of Lyon. And then he caught the train to Brussels. He ordered cognac and croissants. He made a mental list of things he owned but didn't want. All the buildings, all the real estate, the antique glass and stone. He traded a vow of poverty to see the Angel of Lyon. And he sang Ave Maria, or at least the part seemed to, and watched the shadow of the train on the towns that they rolled through. And he closed his eyes and he saw 2 rivers, the Rhone and the Saône. The city of Leon. Then he waited on the bridge where they'd met the year before. But the days turned into weeks, then the seasons numbered 4, and his clothes grew worn and ragged. As through that town he roamed, searching every open window for his angel of Leon. And he sang Ave Maria, or at least the parts he knew, and watched his shadow on the wall of the streets that he crawled through. And he crossed those holy rivers, yeah, the Rhone and the Somme. They'd not give up the secret of the angel of Leon. Basilica tonight, where Sister Eve Maria is the keeper of the light. And down the dream of alleyways walks a saint of rag and bone, a madman torn asunder by the angel of Leon. Ave Maria, or at least the parts he knew, and watched his shadow on the wall of the streets that he crawled through. And he crossed those holy rivers, yeah, the Rhone and the Somme. They'd not give up the secret of the angel of Leon. Andrew Arden. Come gather round me, children, a story I will tell. I've been around since Jesus met the woman at the well. I've walked these roads 10,000 years. I'm a ragtime millionaire. Lord, I'm the rake and the rambling saint. I'm a man from God knows where. famous little bar in Downpatrick, Ireland. Up in the north, the town where they buried St. Patrick. A great town for drinking Guinness. Can you hear me in the back? Okay, let me know. This is important. It's about my family. And I was doing research there on my family, the Russells, and the poster for our gig was on the wall, and this old man came up to me, handed me a Guinness, so I was all ears. And he said, "Thomas Russell, you bastard. We hung you across the road 100 years ago, and we'll hang you again. You bastard." That's a big word in this show. I'm sorry about the kids, it's just what the guy said. And I had his Guinness. I didn't understand what he meant, but eventually I got the message. There's a very famous patriot by the name of Thomas Russell, hung here in 1803, United Irish Rebellion, and a very famous poem written about you called The Man from God Knows Where. So I bought the old man a Guinness and stole that title from my record and created this man that rides across the great American landscape of history, digging up my ancestors metaphorically and bidding them tell their story one more time. So there's 26 pieces of music on the record and lots of guest artists singing the parts, but tonight, the Reader's Digest version. Does anybody have the record here? God bless you. Guinness for everybody, Russ. We'll do a few. We've got Iris DeMent on there, and the great Dolores Keane, the voice of Ireland, and Dave Van Ronk. And I'll take you through a few of these and give you the insider's approach. And we have over 2,000 copies on the table. Here we go. They hung me in Downpatrick, up near St. Patrick's tomb. But my ghost rose up in the peat fire smoke toward the rising of the moon. Now as I drift through your villages, all the maidens stop and stare. There goes old Tom, he's a vagabond, yeah, he's the man from God knows where. So rise up, all ye ancestors, and dance upon your graves. I've come to hear your voices now, so maybe I'll be saved. Cursed are we who forget the past, but pray and don't despair. My songs might haunt your dreams tonight. I'm the man from God knows where. As they're getting off the boats, I dreamt they were always met by a guy who was trying to swindle them, sell them bad real estate. He's a lawyer, real estate developer. He's the cousin that you had kept in the closet at home. The everyman, the outcast. And I thought, I need a great carnival voice for this record, and I thought of Tom Waits. He wasn't available. Shane McGowan, not available. The great Dave Van Ronk. There's the voice. The Pope of Greenwich Village. He's the outcast on the record. And I must admit, I was raised on cowboy music and also folk music, Hawaiian music, but also Broadway musicals, the great Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. Very well written things, and also The Music Man Meredith Willson. So in the back of my jaded head, I saw The Man from God Knows Where as a Broadway musical. And when I was a kid in the 1960s, I saw a rock version of Shakespeare's Othello called Catch My Soul. And the part of the evil Iago was played by Jerry Lee Lewis. That's evil. In Between Wives, he played his part from the side of the stage on an upright piano with his blonde hair going back and forth over his head. And he sang everything in a hillbilly Shakespearean Memphis accent. Fairly well, my friends, fairly well. And my little eyes were wide open. And I thought if I ever got to write a Broadway musical, Jerry Lee Lewis would play the evil part. So this is the outcast, the swindler, going through his version, the dark part of American history, tongue-in-cheek. Come gather round me, pilgrims, lend an ear now, if you please. This land of yours was settled by bastards, drunks, and thieves. Excuse me if it offends you, sir, but I'm the worst of all of these. I destroyed your family tree. I am the outcast. Whoa! I'm your inbred second cousin that was kept inside a shed. I'm the cross-eyed little stutter who always went to bed. I'm your weird Uncle Harry, your retarded Uncle Fred. I am the one you left for dead. I am the outcast. I embarrassed folks at weddings, birthdays, and at wakes. I'm the cur who passed out face down in your anniversary cake. I'm the black sheep, the philander, the louse, the souse, the rake, the remittance man, the snake, the bloody outcast. Whoa! So forbear with your pity, yeah, my function's very plain. We've come here from the old world and we've gone a touch insane. On your social scale you need a foil to bear the family stain. I am the joker in your game. I'm the outcast, yeah. Chinaman, the Jew. They built your friggin' railroad and they picked your cotton too. They washed your dirty laundry and they tied your children's shoes. They got a right to sing the blues. They were outcasts. Now we worship politicians as if they all were saints. Put their faces on our money, our pillow slips and plates. We should love this land for what it is and not for what it ain't. All their game is fueled by hate, the hate of outcasts. The Norwegians hate the Swedish, the Swedes they hate the Finns they hate the Russians, and the Russians hate the Ends. All specks and walks and greasers, Christ and spades and guinea hens. Hatred's blowing in the wind, 10 million outcasts. Step right up, you pilgrims, we got trains a-leaving soon. We got acreage out in Iowa for the likes of folks like you. A quarter section on a floodplain, 40 acres and a mule. Sign right here, you bloody fools. Welcome, you outcasts. Ambiance. There's a woman sitting by the window 100 years ago. This is a Norwegian woman. And she's waiting for the midnight train. Comes by every night. And she's listening to an old Edison disc player. Kinda we had when I was a kid. You wind it up and you put this cylinder on and you put the needle down. It usually sounds like my wild Irish rose, a sweet
this floor or that globe. Everybody sounded like that.
Uncle Benny buys an automobile and all this insane stuff. And she's listening to the voice of the great American poet, Walt Whitman. The first voice recorded by Thomas Edison. We found that tape on an old compilation, put a little on the record. 15 seconds of Walt Whitman. America! And she's listening to the voice looking out across the cornfields, waiting for the train. And every once in a while, that train is an orphan train, as they call them, carrying orphan kids from the East Coast, Boston and New York, out to the Midwest farm towns where people could afford to have more children. And I saw this great picture of a train by a siding and all these 100 children sitting there. It seemed like a sad thing, but I guess it really wasn't. They usually found good families. But I heard this song. I didn't write this. It was written by a great New York writer named David Mazingill. And it's called Rider on an Orphan Train, and I thought it fit this record, the time period, very well. So, forewarned, it's the saddest song I've ever heard. Sadder than anything Tom Russell ever wrote. And that's sad.
It'll drive you to drinking water.
Once I rode the orphan train, and my brother did the same. We got off in misery. James was 5 and I was 3, and he got taken by some pair. But for me, they did not care. We were brave, we did not cry when they made us say goodbye. That was the last I saw of him before a family took me in. But I swore I'd run away and find my brother James one day. And I went back when I was grown to find our old children's home. And I asked for to see my file when I was an orphan child. It's sad they say there's been a flood, fire washed away in the Missouri mud. Sometimes life is a stone wall. You either climb or else you fall. In every town, on every street, all the faces that I meet. And I wonder, could one be my brother James come back to me? No, I don't know where he's gone, but I have searched my whole life long, and now I roam from town to town. But there's no orphan lost and found. Sometimes I dream a pleasant sight, my brother James and I unite, remembering our last goodbye. No longer brave, we start to cry. I hope he lives a life of ease, and all his days a soft warm breeze. May he sit upon a throne, and may he never sleep alone. Once I rode the orphan train, and my brother did the same. We got off in Missouri. James was 5 and I was 3.
Let's hear your guitar. Ask Laura to turn you down on my monitor.
You can turn me down a little in his monitor, Laura.
Guitar.
Guitar. Anything else, Andy?
Everything off in the monitor except my guitar.
Same old man, same bar, down Patrick, Ireland. 8 Guinness later. Thomas Russell, you bastard. I should have told you, shit, boy, I don't care. That's you. Native Americans. It's the cowboy portion of the show now. I knew that I didn't understand a thing he was saying except Native Americans, and I thought the only way I'm going to understand his message is if I catch up, drink-wise. So for the sake of music history, I started in. 10 Guinness later, I crawled out of that little bar in Downpatrick. Firm in my mind was the message. Basically it was, you American people, you bastards, you come over here, you steal our women, our melodies, our folk music. Why don't you stay home and write about your own Native American people? You bastards. I said, that's a very good message. I'm not related to any, but I'll think about it. And about 3 days later in Galway, Ireland, the graveyard of ambition, I came across a book. I know that because my daughter lived there. She didn't work for a year. It's kind of like Austin, you know. I came across this cowboy book, wonderful American cowboy book that somebody had left there in a used bookstore. It had a wonderful historic picture entitled Sitting Bull in Venice. And it showed the great Sioux medicine man purported to be Sitting Bull and 3 other Sioux warriors in a gondola in Venice, Italy, 100 years ago or more. And there was the Sioux Indians, the gondolier, and Buffalo Bill Cody. And of course they were over there to do the Wild West shows, reenactment of the West. But the look on Sitting Bull's face is stunning. He stares out at history with one eye, sort of refined anger, as if to say, this is a bad gig. And he's got one eye cocked on Bill Cody's long white hair. So I wrote this for that old man in the bar in Downpatrick, and the only link with my ancestors is the irony of American history as my people were coming across from Ireland and Norway in a boat for 8 weeks. They may have passed Sitting Bull going the other way. It's the audio-visual portion for the cameras. Thank you.
That was the sound.
Okay, I turned it up for reverb.
Thank you, sir.
Can you feel it now?
Yes.
Sitting Bull in Venice. Look at me, brave Sitting Bull, in a gondola canoe. Bill Cody brings us smoking meat. Hey, what a way to do. We came across the water in a boat no man could row, to play war in front of strangers in Bill Cody's Wild West show. Whoop-tie, whoop-a-tie. I've seen the Eiffel Tower, I've seen the wonders of the world. Saloons where drunken white men stared at naked dancing girls. But I close my eyes and see the Bighorn Valley harvest moons of gold. The bloody hair of Custer hanging from our victory pole. Whoop-a-tay, 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 whoop-a-tay. See me staring calmly from your magic photograph in this gondola canoe. Am I about to cry or laugh? My spirit rides with Red Cloud, Black Bear, and Buffalo. My dreams fly with the heron, the great crane, and the crow. Whoop-a-tay, 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 whoop-a-tay. One more woman sitting by the window. I have to do the female parts too tonight. With this voice, I was born with a gift of a golden voice, as Leonard Cohen said. But on the record, we have the voice of the Irish Earth, the great Dolores Keane, and she sings a duet with Iris DeMent. We have a night off tomorrow night on our great Southwestern tour. We're going down to see Iris and John Prine and say hello. And Iris was flown over to Norway with Dolores, and we all recorded this record in a big farmhouse on the west coast of Norway. And real treat for me. But when I was writing this song, basically for Dolores, I was thinking of once again a farm woman, an Irish woman this time, watching the daughters leave the farm and catch the horse carriage that would take them to the train that would take them west from Iowa, Los Angeles, the big time, where my family ended up. You reach the end of the Santa Monica Pier, there's nowhere else to go in America. My father stood out on the edge of that pier, jingling the change in his pockets, wondering what else was left. But this is back in Iowa, the woman's watching the daughters leave. And the song, which is a sing-along song, and since we're filming for MTV, this is your chance. This is called Isn't It a Pity When Irish Girls Grow Up? And Dolores told me one anecdote that I put in the song. We were in a bar in back of the Olympia Theater one night on the Nancy Griffith tour touring and doing other voices other too. Dolores was supposed to be on stage, and Nancy sent me to look for her.
Tom, go find Dolores.
That's what she said, and I found her in the back of a bar. She had a half a pint of Guinness. Guinness figures into my story. If you leave with 2 words, Guinness and bastard. She says, Tom, come in and have a drink with me. I said, Dolores, you're supposed to be on stage. She goes, oh, Jimmy. Jimmy's the bartender. Give Tom a Guinness and give me one too. And Jimmy said, Dolores, you've got a half a pint in front of you. Well, top it off, Jimmy. And I've never seen an Irish person tell a bartender to top off a Guinness. She did. And told me this one anecdote. She said Mary Black told her the way Irish women get away with talking about each other behind their backs. And that gossiping. And they get away with it because they ask for God's forgiveness first. As in, God forbid me for saying this, but she's a bit of a slut. It's true. You get away with anything. So I put that in the song. Sing along, When Irish Girls Grow Up. Darling, don't go to the city. You'll get lost there in the crowd. All the girls there in the city drink and smoke and talk too loud. And women in the city sneak their whiskey from a cup. Oh, isn't it a pity when Irish girls grow up? And have you heard of Mary Gilligan? She's gone about 2 weeks. She's painted up her lips when all the colors left her cheeks. She never goes to mass no more. She gave her virtues up. Oh, isn't it a pity when Irish girls grow up? And have you heard about the Coonies, the Russells, the Malloys? The girls all left the farm, they've gone to chasing city boys. And mothers pray to Mary that their girls won't turn corrupt. Oh, isn't it a pity when Irish girls grow up? And it's God forbid me gossiping, but I swear that it's all true. The Lord should strike me dead should this be said, the likes of you. Your lips shall not touch alcohol, it's tea that you shall sup. Oh, isn't it a pity when Irish girls grow up? All right. So darling, don't go to the city. You'll get lost there in the crowd. And all the girls there in the city drink and smoke and talk too loud. And women in the city sneak their whiskey from a cup. Oh, isn't it a pity when Irish girls grow? Everybody! Oh, isn't it a pity when Irish girls grow? One more time! Isn't it a pity when Irish girls grow up? Great job. They heard you over at the Chinese Palace. Isn't that where we played last time we were in town? The train's pulling into LA, now we're getting near the end of the album, the Reader's Digest version. Well, come all year round as if you want to hear the story of a brave engineer. Well, Casey Jones, he was a rounder's name on a heavy wheel of Boise Road fame. A caller called Casey about 4:30 and he kissed his wife at the station door. He climbed into the cabin with his orders in his hand, said, "This is the journey to the promised land." Casey Jones climbed into the cabin. Casey Jones, orders in his hand. Casey Jones climbed into the cabin and he took a bill, took her to the promised land. heartaches and all kinds of pain. They're all a part of the railroad game. Story is a brave man, noble and grand, belong to the life of a railroad man. Casey Jones climbing to the cabin. Casey Jones, gold is in his hand. Casey Jones climbed into the cabin and he took a railroad trip into the promised land. Now the only reason I put that song on the record was the only song my father knew. And he sang it to us every night to try to put us to sleep. And he sang it too fast. And he raised a family of insomniacs. And the first thing we learned how to say was, slow down, slow down. He was in a hurry to get downstairs to read the racing form and drink his 10 high and smoke Chesterfield. And the horses were his big downfall. The American dream. See, Andy, I don't need you, I can do. That's coming, that's coming. The Cadillac horn. But Charlie Russell, and won $1 million, lost $1 million, and I used to say we lived our familial life dramatically between It's a Wonderful Life and Death of a Salesman. And when we're over in Europe, where we have to go to make our living, every once in a while I explain to the Swiss people, the Germans, how important this Jimmy Stewart movie, It's a Wonderful Life, is to us at Christmas. I don't know. My ex-wife watched this movie 10 times a year. She never took the tree down. And she wept. She would only watch the black and white version, not the colorized version. And of course, the capsule thing, you know, Uncle Billy has lost the bank's money. Jimmy Stewart, his brother, his nephew, is going to jump off the bridge. Guardian angel saves him back to town, where the whole of small town America, Pottersville, whatever it's called, something falls. Come on. Bedford Falls, yes. Have gathered together and brought money to save the bank. Everybody weeps and sings Christmas carols. Catharsis for America. The end. This whole story happened to my family up until the point where the town brought the money back. So I was a confused and angry kid. You grow up thinking that happens to everybody. And the biggest thing that happened in my childhood was when we were about, well, it was the mid-50s anyway, and the old man had a lot of money, and he took us back on a great American train, back when we had those, Southern Pacific, Union Pacific dome liner, from Los Angeles' great Union Station to Detroit, where he had prearranged to buy a Cadillac car off the factory assembly line with cash. And our little eyes again were wide open. That's the only thing I remember from my childhood. Jerry Lee Lewis, the Cadillac in Detroit. And he put the 4 kids and the wife in the Cadillac, beautiful big 4-door, blue and white, with the big fins, and drove us back through his hometown in New Hampton, Iowa, up and down the main street, honking the horn. Andy Horn! That's the way you'll end up. And the whole town came out and waved, and my dad the air conditioning was on, the windows were up, he was saying, they're saying, look at that, that's Charlie Russell with his beautiful family, he went to LA and made it. But they were secretly saying, there's Charlie Russell, that show-off bastard. Off we went to LA, bang. I looked out the window one gray morning about 10 years later, they were towing the Cadillacs away. Everything was gone. And once again, you know, it took me until now to understand and sympathize with my father. It's very hard sometimes to understand your father. And so I worked it out on this record. And it's great to have people come and hear you and pay for your therapy instead of vice versa. Thank you very much. So thank you. We'll do 1 or 2 more songs off The Man from God Knows Where. up.
Too far.
Listen,
Oh, I get
a
it.
little more sharp.
Thank you. Andy, the human tuner, thank you.
What?
Like, that's all.
He's from New York, I don't know. I'm a Southwestern guy now, I don't care. Hey, whatever, man. I mean, play Kingston Trio songs, huh? Thank you, Andy. Back to my father. And he passed away a couple years ago, and I rarely do his song, but I'm going to do his song and my song for him because I give you the whole picture here. So he comes to the front of the stage through me and sings his whole story here. And he was born in the Chickasaw County Jail in Iowa because his father was the sheriff, and they used the cells when they needed them for the kids. And here we go. It's all in the song. Howdy boys, my name is Charlie, born in the Chickasaw County Jail. My father Albert, well he was a sheriff. He shot horse thieves, deer, and quail. I came west to make my fortune. I ain't gonna work in your factories. I married me an LA angel while I was pumping gasoline. Well, she was smart and she was pretty. She may have been too smart for me. She graduated with high honors in her class down at USC. Yes, she wrote poetry and painted, and she impressed this loud farm boy. Her father George, he owned a drugstore. Her name it was Marjorie Malloy. Well, George Malloy was a pioneer, boys, and he was Irish to the bone. He smoked a pipe, he took me fishing, he taught me the words to Casey Jones. I sold his daughter on dreams of glory, cocktail parties and high-tone cars. And in the war I worked in movies and in Oscars to the stars. I built homes and baseball diamonds. We had 2 daughters, we had 2 boys. A swimming pool and 4 race horses. Lord, I love Marjorie Malloy. I also love the gaming tables. Hey, poker craps, it's the same to me. Investing other people's money, indicted on grand larceny. So here I sit, I'm back in jail, boys, because I could not cop a plea. Hey, friends and relatives, they vanished, but she never turned on me. Once I had pockets filled with silver, I spread around my wealth and joy. I had it all, now I have nothing. I finally lost Marjorie Malloy. Hey, but I dealt cards to Hopalong Cassidy. I played football and I ran track. 48-6 in the quarter mile, boys. Old Charlie Russell, he don't look back. Yeah, I can run and I can fight, boys. Once I knocked out a peeping Tom. I drank with stars and baseball heroes. I ended up in a poor folks home. Howdy boys, my name is Charlie, Trading horses, that's my game. And all the dreamers out there. My father was a gambler. He threw horseshoes at the moon. And he won $1 million. He lost $1 million too. They repossessed the house. They towed the Cadillacs. And my daddy, he just smiled and said, one day I'll win it back. My daddy bought that Cadillac off a Detroit motor line. And then he drove it through his hometown to prove he'd hit his prime. With $100 bills in a St. Chris money clip, and 4 kids staring proudly from that big old sinking ship, throwing horseshoes at the moon. Boys, it's mighty risky odds. Sometimes you hook the Milky Way or the outstretched hands of God, but mostly they just fold earth in a dark and a dusty hole. And the sound of falling horseshoes, it pulls upon the soul, throwing horseshoes at the moon. My father was a gambler, but he had an honest heart. And he never did complain when the whole thing fell apart. He just swam a sea of alcohol till he hit the other side. But how can you be a loser if you never lose your pride? Throwing horseshoes at the moon. Boys, it's mighty risky odds. Sometimes you hook the Milky Way or the outstretched hands of God, but mostly they just fold earth in a dark and a dusty hole. And the sound of falling horseshoes, it pulls upon the soul, throwing horseshoes at the moon. Throwing horseshoes at the moon. Let's hear for Andrew Harden from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you very much for listening. We're going to do one more quick song for you and take a break. We do have the man from God Knows Where record, books, t-shirts. Some of my ancestors will even be over at the table during the break talking to you. And at least Andrew Harden will be there to sell you some records. And he has 2 great guitar instrumental records that were sold out of, unfortunately. But he'll tell you where to get them, I'm sure. Some .com. Amazon kind of situation. But we're glad he made the show tonight, 2 days from New York. And you know what happens sometimes when you get to DFW. You can disappear for 3 days if you're on American Airlines.
Yeah, tell it.
Enough of that, enough of that. I used to have a gold card to go. You know, there's something about Southwest. They don't promise much, but they deliver, you know? I made fun of them years ago, like, give me that sack of peanuts and get me to LA when I want to get there. Enough commercials. Adios, American. We're going to leave you with this one. We all have, at least get on our mailing list, and that's enough about that. But we're going to leave you polking out to the deli, and this is brought to you by Odwalla, this song. It's the only thing I can see in this room. And we'll leave you with this one for a set. This is called El Gallo del Cielo. Rooster from Hell.
Zaragoza left his home in Casas Grande when the moon was full. No money in his pocket, just a locket of his sister framed in gold. He rolled into El Sueco, stole a rooster called El Gallo del Cielo. Then he crossed the Rio Grande with that fighter nestled deep beneath his arm. El Gallo del Cielo was a fighter born in heaven, so the legends say. His wings, they had been broken, he had one eye rolling crazy in his head. And he fought 100 fights, but the legends say that one night near El Sueco, they fought Cielo 7 times, and 7 times he left brave roosters dead. I have $27 and the good luck of your picture framed in gold. Tonight I'll put it all on the fighting spurs of Gallo del Cielo, and then I'll return to buy the land that Villa stole from Father long ago. Outside of San Diego, in the onion fields of Paco Monteverde, the pride of San Diego, he lay sleeping on his fancy bed of silk. And they laughed when Zaragoza pulled that one-eyed Del Cielo from beneath his coat. But they cried when Zaragoza walked away with a $1,000 bill. What am I to say? I am thinking of you now in Santa Barbara. I have $1,500 and the good luck of your picture framed in gold. Tonight I'll put it all on the fighting spurs of Gallo del Cielo, and then I'll return to buy the land that Villa stole from Father long ago. Now the moon has gone to hiding, and the lantern light spills shadows on the fighting sand, where a wicked black named Zorro faces Gallo del Cielo tonight. But Carlos Zaragoza fears the tiny crack that runs across his rooster's beak, and he fears he has lost the $50,000 riding on the fight. Yes, some money's on the table. I'm holding to your good luck framed in gold, and everything we dreamed of is riding on the spurs of Del Cielo. I pray that I'll return to buy the land that Villa stole from Father long ago. Then the signal it was given, and the roosters rose together far above the sand. And El Gallo del Cielo sunk a gaff into Zorro's shiny breast. They were separated quickly, but they rose and fought each other 37 times. And the legends say that everyone agreed Del Cielo fought the best. And the screams of Zaragoza filled the night outside the town of Santa Clara. The beak of Del Cielo, it lay broken like a shell in his hand. And they say that my brother's face turned red when he hears mention of my name. To the people of El Sueco, curse the that gallo del cielo. We'll tell my family not to worry, I will not return to cause them shame. Andrew Harden on the guitar. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Oh, somebody asked for Navajo.
Navajoros, okay. Yes, God
You
bless
still do that on the Coffeehouse?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back to the second set. How we doing, folks? Laura's back there on the sound. A little more on this monitor, Laura. We had a lot of requests, and we'll get to the ones that we know in a second here. And we'll start off with this. You were listening to Dave Alvin there, a great songwriter from Los Angeles. Blackjack David. All his records are available here at Russ Gordon's record store. And wherever, make sure you patronize Russ. Here's a song off of a record of mine that, thank you very much, that Dave produced, about the farming valley I grew up near. This is called The Rose of the San Joaquin. Wrote this with the great Ian Tyson. Farewell to the lights of Madeira. I'm leaving with the wind at my back. Tell all of my friends in Dos Palos I'm gone, but I'll be circling back. Now I'm crossing the Chowchilla River by the light of a ragged moonbeam, and I miss the roads of San Joaquin. I'll miss the sun on the Sierra Nevada, Adobe moon on the rise, shining down on my love in Madeira, shining into her dark Spanish eyes. Oh, she taught me those Mexican love songs, volver, volver in my dreams, and I miss the roads, the San Joaquin, caught somewhere between the road and the roads, the San Joaquin. How her dark hair split on the bank, in the tall grass wet with the dew, making love through the night by the river. Oh, Magdalena, how my heart cries for you. Alone on this highway of darkness, you are the light of my dreams, and I miss the roads, the San Joaquin, caught somewhere between the road and the roads, the San Joaquin. Muchas gracias, damas y caballeros. Here's an otra canción, another song I wrote with the great Ian Tyson. The first song I wrote with him, the original I song. And he has said, If you're ever stuck for something to say in a human relationship or in a song, just say, aye, aye, aye. Secrets of Cowboy Songwriting, Part 1. So here it is, a song about making love on a Navajo rug. Well, it's 3 eggs up on whiskey toast and home fries on the side. You wash it down with that roadhouse coffee, burns up your insides. It's just a Canyon, Colorado diner, a waitress I did love. Where we sat in the back beneath the old stuffed bear and a worn-out Navajo rug. Well, old Jack, the boss, he closed at 6. Then Katie barred the door. She pulled down that Navajo rug and spread it on the floor. Yeah, I saw lightning in the sacred mountain, saw the dance of the turtle doves when I was lying next to Katie on that old Navajo rug. Aye, aye, aye. Katie, shades of red and blue. Aye, aye, aye. Katie, whatever became of the Navajo rug in you? Katie, yeah. Well, I saw old Jack about a year ago. He said the place burned to the ground, and all he saved was an old bare tooth. And Katie, she left town. Oh, but Katie, she got her a souvenir too. Jack spat out a back old plug. He said you should have seen her running through the smoke, dragging that Navajo rug. Aye, aye, aye. Katie, shades of red and blue. Aye, aye, aye. Katie, whatever became of the Navajo rug in you? Katie, yeah, all right. How you gonna get out of this one? Well, that's better. So every time I cross the sacred mountains, the lightning breaks above. It always takes me back in time to my long lost Katie love. But everything keeps moving, and everybody's on the go. Where you don't find things that last anymore, like a double woven Navajo. Aye, aye, aye. Katie, shades of red and blue. Aye, aye, aye. Katie, whatever became of the Navajo rug in you? Katie, shades of red and blue. Aye, aye, aye. Katie, whatever became of the Navajo rug in you? Katie, yeah, all right. Andrew Horton, John Coltrane makes James Burton. Unbelievable solo, yes. Dangling. Yes, it's blame American Airlines for that solo. It's definitely an American Airlines solo.
We'll be handing out food vouchers for that song.
Back to the show. Here's a couple songs I wrote with the great Dave Alvin, and Ian taught me aye, aye, aye. You learn from everybody you co-write with, and Katie Moffett. Peter Case. But Dave Alvin's a great rock and roller, successful rock and roller. And thank you, sir. That's Russ, probably. Did you pay to get in, sir? Yes. It is Russ. Okay. And I noticed in every one of the songs I wrote with Dave Alvin, somebody's either taking their clothes off or putting them on. So it's their secret to this romance thing. This is one of those. This is called Out in California. Thank you, sir. You just trying to get on the video? Is that it? Or? I'm sitting here drinking in the last bar on Earth, Chinese Palace. I'm sitting here drinking in the last bar on Earth. But out in California, she's taking off her tight red skirt. Whoa! Well, the mountains out the window, there a woman lying on a bed. Yeah, the mountains here are shaped like a woman lying naked on a bed. She may be out in California, but I can't get her out of my head. Hey! Out in California. Well, they killed all the Indians, they shot all the grizzly bears. Yeah, out in California, they shot all the grizzly bears. But she just stands by the window, combing out her long black hair. Well, if a man keeps her running, he'll run right into himself. Lord, if a man keeps on moving, he'll run right into himself. She may be out in California, but she's lying down with somebody else. Out in California. Out in California. Yeah, wild. Gonna buy me a shotgun as soon as my luck rolls around. I'm gonna buy me a Chevy as soon as my luck rolls around. Yeah, then I'll drive right back to that California town. Well, I'm sitting here drinking in the last bar on earth. Yeah, I'm sitting here drinking in the last bar on earth. But out in California, she's taking off her tight red skirt. Out in California. Out in California. Out in Thank you. Here's a relatively new song I wrote with Dave. It'll probably be on my next record, the Border record, and this is Andrew's favorite. It's called Down the Rio Grande, and I moved away from New York about 3 years ago, thank God, and got a little place outside. And of El Paso. I figured that was the least hip spot on earth. Because New York's supposed to be the hippest, right? Frank Sinatra. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Well, I like to tell Frank, if you can make it in Juarez, you can make it anywhere. That's the way I think about it. And I can be in Juarez in 20 minutes at the Kentucky bar. And let me tell you about a few things. And I had Dave Alvin out to the house, and when I first moved there, and I realized after about 2 weeks, they called me up, told me I could irrigate my land off the Rio Grande. And this was an exotic thing for me, having just moved from Brooklyn. And you order your water a week ahead, and then it can come any time of day or night. It can come at 3 in the morning, and the guy will call you up, Mr. Russell, your water's here. You bastard. It's the same guy. Now, what are the odds on that? I'm just kidding. I won't use that word anymore. And I had Dave Alvin out to the house to write a song one afternoon, and the water, my irrigation water came, and I said, Dave, we can't write now. He goes, we're going to write the big one. No. Please take that shovel and go out to yonder water ditch and clean it out. Help me here. And he grumbled and lit a cigarette. Oh, God. He's from L.A. And he walked out to the field, and he lasted about 20 minutes, and he cleaned the water ditch, then he collapsed. And with his last breath, he looked over at me and said, next time, get Bob Dylan. I was telling Andy, the new thing is I got the letter in the mail the other day that the whole irrigation system has changed. I'm now the alcalde of my water ditch. And I didn't know what that means, so I got my Spanish dictionary out. The mayor. I am the mayor of my water ditch. And I command, I'm supposed to organize these 2 other people on the ditch. One of them's a nice older person, a lady who never uses the water. And the other one is a crazy hermit. The only thing he said to me in 3 years was that he was working on a book about the meaning of life. And I said, oh, good luck, and he walked away. So I'm the alcalde of these 3 people. And I'll let you know more as this develops. Because up here, the Rio Grande looks a lot different than it does down where we are. Trust me. And when it flows out on my land, you have the beautiful Rio Grande up here. There's catfish heads and windfall apples, and it's muddy, dirty water. But it's this historical water, and I appreciate it. So here's a story about a guy chasing his girlfriend down the length of the Rio Grande. Baby pulled her blue dress on and walked out in the night. Left one silk stocking dangling from the bedside light. I sobered up and called her name just before the dawn. I followed footprints through the sand. I knew where she had gone, down the Rio Grande. Down the Rio Grande. I pulled out of Albuquerque, must have been past 8. 4 cups of coffee and I hit the interstate. Rolling through Las Cruces, I thought I saw her car. She always said she'd go someday. She never said how far, down the Rio Grande. Down the Rio Grande. Maybe she's in Brownsville, she's got some family there. She always talked about the salty Gulf Coast air where the river ends. Down the Rio Grande. I saw an old gray heron flying south against the wind. Storm clouds over Juarez rolling down to the Big Bend. I called her name
as dusty desert rain. But who knows what the hell I'd say if I found her again on the Rio Grande. Down the Rio Grande. I turned south on Highway 90, sky began to clear. Black mountains out ahead, red sundown rear view mirror. Haunted by her dark warm skin moving next to mine. I swore that things would change if I could hold her one more time on the Rio Grande. Down the Rio Grande. Maybe she's in Brownsville, she got some family there. She always talked about the salty Gulf Coast air where the river ends. Down the Rio Grande. Bought a bottle in Del Rio, I pulled out off the road. Spent the night staring at the lights of Mexico. I walked down to the border bridge around the break of day. I threw that empty bottle off and watched it float away down the Rio Grande. Gulf of Mexico, and just like that empty bottle, I may sink or I may flow to the river's end. Down the Rio Grande. Baby pulled her blue dress on and walked out in the night. Here's one more ballad since we're on this case. Another one that'll be on the next record, but it's on a song I wrote with Dave Alvin. It's on his current record. It's called California Snow. And it's a song about a border patrolman who's been on the job a little too long. And he's starting to see things in the night. But based on a true story, when they cross over from Mexico in the middle of California, the mountains begin right away and the temperature can drop drastically. So this is one of those situations. California Snow. I'm just trying to make a living. I'm an old man, 39. My 2 kids and my ex-wife moved up to Riverside. I'm an agent on the border. I drive the back roads late at night. The mountains east of El Cajon, north of the Tecate line, where the California summer sun will burn right through your soul. But in winter you can freeze to death in the California snow. I catch the ones I'm able to, I watch the others slip away. And some I know their faces, I might even know their names. I guess they think that we're all movie stars and millionaires. I guess they think their dreams and hopes will all come through up here. And I bet the weather's warmer way down in Mexico. And no one ever warned them of the California snow. Last winter I found a man and wife. It was just about daybreak, lying in a frozen ditch north of the interstate. I wrapped him in a blanket, Lord, but she'd already died. We shipped the man on back alone, south of the borderline. And I don't know where they came from or where they'd hoped to go, but he carried her body all night long through the California snow. Man, the things I've seen up here make me think about my life. I might go back to Riverside and try to fix things with my wife. Or maybe I'll just get in the truck and drive as far as I can go, away from all these ghosts that haunt the California snow. And the California summer sun will burn right through your soul, but in winter you can freeze to death in the California snow. To death in the California snow. Thank you, appreciate that. Now for something up-tempo and lively. The Eyes of Roberto Duran. All right, a boxing / love song. And I had the pleasure of watching the great Panamanian boxer during his prime work out in a gym in New York about 12 years ago, and he didn't like to work out in front of men. For inspiration, the gym was lined with beautiful Panamanian women, and there was a couple guys, including me, and he did this intimidation thing that I'll always remember every night. And when I drank too much tequila, back when I used to do that, I would dream of the eyes of Roberto Duran. Because what he did was he could skip rope bending down
almost to the floor. It's extremely difficult, real fast, and he'd come at you and scream in your face. And as you wiped the spit off and looked down into his eyes, I said to myself, I've seen that look before in the eyes of my girlfriend when she's angry. So I wrote this song for her, The Eyes of Roberta Duran. This will wake you up. Can we have a double espresso for this young lady? Don't worry, Andy's part of the show is coming soon. You're gonna love this. Here we go. Here we go.
Has anybody here seen Roberto Duran? I met him once, I shook his hand. I looked in his eyes and now I understand. Yeah, the love and the anger in the eyes of Roberto Duran. Has anybody here seen that Mexican girl? She lives up on 3rd Street in her own little world. A saint in her window and the rosary beads in her hand. Yeah, the smile of an angel in the eyes of Roberto Duran. Panama City is 3 in the morning. They're talking about the hands of stone. New York City, Lord, the sun's coming up. My baby's throwing everything she owns. Has anybody here seen the woman I love? She'll fight down and dirty when push comes to shove. She'll win every round if the fight goes according to plan. With the smile of an angel in the eyes of Roberto Duran. Talking about the hands of stone. New York City, Lord, the sun's coming up. Baby's throwing everything she owns. Has anybody here seen Roberto Duran? I met him once, I shook his hand. I looked in his eyes and now I understand. Yeah, the love and the anger in the eyes of Roberto Duran.
See my voice is on the mains.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Sure it is.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
I want to make sure I came a long way to play. I want to make sure they hear it. Before we do Andy's song, here we got one. We had a lot of requests, and I'll try to do them real quickly as a medley. There's a lady here from Pittsburgh who has relocated from Pittsburgh, and she wants to hear this song called U.S. Steel. So we'll do that for her from Homestead, Pennsylvania. A beautiful town there on the shores of the Gitchigumi. What is that river? Of course, it's in the song. I should have. What's the other river over there? Of course. You win a free Andrew Harden CD. And in Pittsburgh, they come right together. So it's geographically in Pittsburgh, right? Okay, this is for you. U.S. Steel. This is the last lunchtime at the big U.S. Steel factory that's just closed down.
1, 2, 3, go.
Homestead, Pennsylvania, the home of U.S. Steel. Yeah, the men down homestead works for sharing one last meal. Sauerkraut and kielbasa, a dozen beers or more, 100 years of pouring slab, they're closing down the door. And this mill won't run no more. Well, there's silence in the valley, there's silence in the street, there's silence every night here upon these cold white sheets, where my wife stares out the window with a long and lonely stare. She says you kill yourself for 30 years, but no one seems to care. You make their railroad rails and bridges, you ram their driving wheel, and the towers of their Empire State are lined with homestead steel. The Monongahela Valley no longer hears their off. There's cottonwood and sumac weed inside the slab mill door. This mill won't run no more. So me, I'll sit in Hess's bar and drink my life away. God bless the second mortgage and the unemployment pay. And my ex-boss, Mr. Goodwin, he keeps shaking my one good hand. He said, son, it's men like me and you who built the promised land. We made their railroad rails and bridges, we ran their driving wheel, and the towers of their Empire State are lined with homestead steel. The Monongahela Valley no longer hears the roar. There's cottonwood and sumac weed inside the slab mill door. And this mill won't run no more. It's my favorite portion of the show where we do a song off one of Andrew Hardin's records. I usually say he remembers every show he's ever done. He usually repeats the song he's done in a certain town because the versions grow. So he's going to do a song he did here last time. I believe it was 3 or 4 years ago. And it's an older and a stuff classic about the perils of the drinking life. In this case tonight it might be too much caffeine. God bless you. And it's called Driving Nails in My Coffin. Ladies and gentlemen, enough said. Here he is live, just off the plane, the American Airlines jet, 4:30, Albuquerque. We left Albuquerque at 4:35 and got here at what, Russ? 6:08. That's pretty good, isn't it? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Hardin.
1, 2.
Let's make him welcome.
You've turned me down and I'm so lonesome. Now you have to say you and I are through. Well, I started out drinking pastime, driving nails in my coffin over you. I'm just driving nails in my coffin every time I drink a bottle of booze. I'm just driving nails in my coffin. Well, I'm driving those nails over you. Now ever since the day that we parted, now I've been alone and oh so blue. Now I'm driving them nails in my coffin, and I just can't quit drinking that old booze. I'm just driving nails in my coffin every time I drink a bottle of booze. I'm just driving nails in my coffin. Well, I'm driving those nails over you. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
All right. Well, we got time for one or two more. Here we have several requests. I don't think I want to do the Sky by Paul. Which one?
Walking on the Moon.
Yeah, that's a pretty one. Okay, it's request time here in the old corral, in the old Deli / deli slash record store slash Chinese restaurant, strip mall kind of. It's the way it ends, folks, or begins, you know. Oddwalla. Oddwalla. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Is there any alcohol in that stuff? It's got a lock on it, please. But Sky Above My Blood, you know, every once in a while during my set, that's the song about two guys being hung with their own hair. Every once in a while I like to do a song where nobody dies. It's not sad, it's a happy love song, because every once in a while I write a good love song. And I'd like to do it for you now. I wrote this with Katie Moffett, actually. And it's another sing-along song, and we do this for all the moms out there. This is called Walking on the Moon. All right. The lights of the town were just shutting down. The sun was fresh on the rise, and I met Mama at the door. She'd been walking the floor. She said, boy, you've got stars in your eyes. But Mama, I was walking on the moon last night, and two loving arms held me tight. And as the stars danced around so bright, I was walking on the moon last night. Well, Mama, she did weep. Boy, you've been walking in your sleep. You can't keep your feet on the ground. And it's not always what it seems. True love can be a dream, and some angels fly high just to fall down. But Mama, I was walking on the moon last night, and two loving arms held me tight. And as the stars danced around so bright, I was walking on the moon last night. Oh, play it pretty. Now the lights of the town are glowing yellow-brown, and the moon is beginning to rise. And I left Mama at the door. I said, don't worry anymore. I've seen Daddy put those same stars in your eyes. And Mama, I'll be walking on the moon tonight, and two loving arms will hold me tight. And as the stars dance around so bright, I'll be walking on the moon tonight, everybody. And I'll be walking on the moon tonight, and two loving arms will hold me tight. As the stars louder, I'll be walking on the moon tonight. Just ladies. And I'll be louder. Angels. Just a minute. As the Santa Fe, huh? Everybody, here we go. And I'll be walking on the moon tonight, and two loving arms will hold me tight.
tonight.